Do you often go to a park? I love going to parks with my friends or family. There are some nice parks in different districts, such as Sun Island Park in Harbin. My friends and I go there to sit on the nice grassy area and drink some beer. There's another great park near here I sometimes go to called Two Dragon Mountain, and that's a great area to do some camping in the mountains too. What activities can be done in a park? My friends and I love to go walking in the parks, or sometimes we go hiking in the mountains near here. There's so much beautiful nature, and we can find restaurants in the mountains, or bring some beer and wine to drink in the middle of so much greenery, which is so much different from the grey, polluted cities. Do you think people like going to parks? I love going to parks to see the nature. In the middle of the cities, there's so much grey and pollution, and in the parks there's green plants, trees everywhere, and you can see little animals going here and there. So it feels nice to recharge your batteries outside of a city environment.
Do you prefer a nature park or amusement park? For me, it's definitely a nature park because although there are a lot of fun of an amusement park, like you can play a roller coaster or you can just explore some exciting programs, but I think it's a bit scary for me. Maybe I can't handle it. In contrast, a natural park is much more quiet and peaceful. Plus, I'm a big fan of plants and cute animals. With your telephone app, you can just recognize what weird animals or the strange plants are. And also, you can go hiking there and have a picnic with your friends. Just talking and enjoy the beautiful sceneries. Have some fresh air. I think I can totally relax myself in a natural park.
What activities can be done in a park? You can play guitar, listen to music, or enjoy a concert at a park when you feel like purifying your spirits. You can also read, play chess, or do homeworks at a park after school. People also run, jog, play tennis, basketball, or volleyball at a park to exercise. Do you think people like going to parks? I think people like going to parks more nowadays. Some of the fancy parks hire designers to renovate those parks to increase customers' retention rates. To my evaluation, parks that are refurbished under such recreation projects have indeed improved their outlooks. That's why more people like to go now.
And as for me, I often go to a park to do all kinds of things. And in my hometown, there is a destination that I went to sometimes called Aishu Wetland Park. And I often went there to do some exercise and to inhale some fresh air. And I consider the park as a heaven in a city, which can just let me become more energetic and to refresh myself in a little bit. And it is a natural place where I can see a lot of fauna and flora and fauna, and I can hang out with my family to connect with them. So I really like going to a park. And in a park, you can do a lot of things. You can just go camping. You can just bring some fresh refreshments with your families or your friends. and sit by the lake to talk about a lot of things that you are encountered or experienced in a little bit. And you can be a photographer to take a lot of photos about the natural scenes, and you can shot the birds. You can shot a very unique flowers, and you can just to ride a bike to do some exercise or just read books by the lake. Or besides, you can also do nothing, just space in the sunshine.
Okay, let's have a listen to the part 1 topic of parks. And here is sample number 1.
Do you often go to a park? I love going to parks with my friends or family. There are some nice parks in different districts, such as Sun Island Park in Harbin.
I have to say, I don't often hear people use the word districts. That's not a bad word to use, especially if you're living in Taiwan with all the different districts that we have here.
My friends and I go there to sit on the nice grassy area and drink some beer. There's another great park near here I sometimes go to called Two Dragon Mountain, and that's a great area to do some camping in the mountains too.
Okay, so pretty simple answer. He gave us 2 parks. He told us what they do there. Nothing really spectacular in terms of grammar or vocabulary, really, but error-free.
What activities can be done in a park? My friends and I love to go walking in the parks, or sometimes we go hiking in the mountains near here. There's so much beautiful nature, and we can find restaurants in the mountains.
Just one thing about nature. I often hear people say the nature. So just remember, for nature, there's no article.
Or bring some beer and wine to drink in the middle of so much greenery.
Ah, greenery. That's a good word to use. Greenery here is used as a noun, of course, referring to all the plants and stuff.
Which is so much different from the grey, polluted cities.
Okay, and here at the end we have this relative clause, which is so much different from the grey, polluted cities. So some complex grammar there towards the end. And also using polluted here as an adjective. That's not bad. Next one.
Do you think people like going to parks? I love going to parks to see the nature.
Okay, I just said nature doesn't take an article, but here he's talking about the specific nature in parks. That's why there's a the. So he's not talking about nature in general, he's talking about the nature you find in parks. Although I don't know, if you go to a park, is that natural? I don't know if I would call what you find in a park nature. I suppose so, if it's a really big park.
In the middle of the cities, there's so much grey and pollution.
Yeah, see, now he's kind of repeating what he's just said, right? In the previous answer.
And in the parks, there's green plants, trees everywhere, and you can see little animals going here and there.
Ah, look at this here at the end. Going here and there, so just they're all over the place, going everywhere.
Here and there. So it feels nice to recharge your batteries outside of a city environment.
Okay, let's see. Recharge. How do I often hear people misuse the word recharge? Oh, I can't remember, but in the test I often hear people say... What do they say? Right now I can't remember, but this is the correct way to say recharge. Recharge your batteries. Recharge, and then possessive pronoun batteries. So recharge his batteries, her batteries, my batteries. Outside of a city environment. Alright. Here is sample 2. Let's see.
Do you prefer a natural park or amusement park?
To me, this question doesn't even make sense, because amusement parks, at least in the Western world, I mean, they're very different from natural parks. So to compare these two, to me, it doesn't make any sense.
For me, it's definitely a natural park. Because although there are a lot of fun at an amusement park,
Okay, so this person has some issues with pronunciation. Like she says although, even though it's although. And here, I can't quite make out what she's saying.
Have fun at an amusement park.
Nope.
Like you can play a roller coaster.
Okay, one thing, those rides at the amusement park, like for example, the roller coaster, the verb is not play, the verb is go. You go on the roller coaster. You go on the whatever else there is, whatever the ride is, the verb is always go.
Or you can just explore some exciting programs.
I don't know what program she's talking about. Does she mean rides?
But I think it's a bit scary for me. Maybe I can't handle it.
It's a bit scary for me. Maybe I can't handle it. You see, it's a pity that she uses the word program, because now I'm missing the meaning of whatever comes after program. Or programs. I don't know what she's talking about.
In contrast,
Okay. It's contrast, not contrast. So she put the stress here on the wrong syllable. It's a good phrase to use. It's a good discourse marker. She's showing how she's going to talk about something that's different. Just unfortunately, as far as pronunciation goes, that stress is going to count against her.
Central Park is much more quiet and peaceful. Plus, I'm a big fan of plants and cute animals.
Okay, more problems with vowels here. It's not fun, it's fan. Cute animals, okay?
With your telephone app, you can just recognize what weird animals or the strange plants are.
Right, telephone app. Well, isn't that the camera? She's talking about the camera, I guess, right? Maybe. I'm not sure what she means by you can recognize what weird animals... You can recognize what weird animals or the strange plants are. Okay, there's a problem here with the grammar also. I'm not sure what she means by recognize. Does she mean like you take pictures of them? Does she mean you can look them up to see what kind of animal or plants these are? Not sure. Here at the end, you can recognize what weird animals or plants there are. You can recognize what weird animals or plants there are. There are in the park, or just there are.
All the strange plants are. And also you can go hiking there and have a picnic with your friends, just talking and enjoy the beautiful sceneries.
Okay, but if it's a specific park, then you enjoy the scenery. One park, one scenery.
Have some fresh air. I think I can totally relax myself in a natural park.
Okay, if you're a Chinese speaker, we don't say relax myself, we just say relax. So I relax, she relaxes, he relaxes. There's no myself or himself or herself. Natural park. Alright, sample 3.
What activities can be done in a park? You can play guitar, listen to music, or enjoy a concert at a park when you feel like purifying your spirits.
Okay, one person, one spirit. I don't quite know what it means to purify your spirit. I'm not a very spiritual person, but okay. Listen to music to purify your spirit. Okay, I'm not going to say that's wrong. I'm just saying it's not something that I'm familiar with. I don't often see people using the word purify with spirit, but okay. Maybe this is what she does. I'm not going to argue with her.
You can also read, play chess, or do homeworks at a park after.
Okay, homework has no plural. There's no S there. The problem with what she's saying here is she's just listing things. Music, enjoy a concert, read, play chess. It's just a long list. Why not choose 2 of these items and talk more about your own experiences doing these things? But maybe that is what she's going to do now.
You can also read, play chess, or do homeworks at a park after school. People also run.
No, she's not doing that. She's just continuing with the list. Okay, this is terrible. Because the grammar here is almost non-existent. I mean, look at this. It's just simple verbs here. This is not the way to answer questions in part 1.
Jog, play tennis,
It's jog. Jog.
basketball, or volleyball at a park to exercise.
Yeah, see, the grammar is too simple because it's just a bunch of words in a list.
Do you think people like going to parks? I think people like going to parks more nowadays. Some of the fancy parks hire designers to renovate those parks to increase customers' retention rates.
Okay, there's some great vocabulary here, but I'm not sure that any of this is applicable to parks. Well, that's not true. I mean, designers, I'm sure they are, I don't know, they're landscapers, not designers. Okay, the people who design parks, I'm pretty sure are called landscapers. Although, if you say designers, I'm not going to say that's wrong. But instead of designers, use the word landscaper. But after this, customers, people who go to parks are not called customers. You're a customer if you pay for something. They're called visitors. Okay, so they renovate parks to increase visitors' retention rates. Well, I don't know if this is true. Because I don't know how parks measure how many people they retain. I don't know if this is what they do in China.
Renovate those parks to increase customers' retention rates. To my evaluation, parks that are refurbished are
Her evaluation. She has evaluated this. Obviously, she has not. It's not like she's done a study on this. So why is she saying this? The examiner is going to know this is not true. Why do this?
such recreation projects have indeed improved their outlooks.
She's talking about parks as though they are a business. Okay, refurbished is used for like furniture or a building. If you make an old piece of furniture or an old building look new. For parks, we wouldn't use the word refurbished. Actually, I've never really seen people do anything to parks. I mean, once you have a park, you don't really, there's no need to really make it look new because the plants just keep on growing, don't they? I don't know, what do people do with parks? They don't really do anything. Parks don't get old, they're just plants. I think for parks we just say maintain. So parks that are well maintained. Yeah, I mean, I don't go to parks very often, but they don't really do much. Once you have a park, the park exists and the plants just continue growing. You just have to maintain the plants, right? So parks that are well maintained, yes, that's what you should say. Okay, recreational products. I would not describe a park as a product. A park is a facility. I don't know why she's saying under. The park is not under the recreational facility. Also, there should be recreational, not recreation. So recreational facility have indeed improved their outlooks. Well, outlook means like future prospect, right? This is a word that is used in business mostly. Park's not a company. I wouldn't use this. I'm not even really sure what she's trying to say here. So if parks are well maintained, they will have a better future as a recreational facility. Possibly. Here's the last bit.
Their outlooks. That's why more people like to go now.
Like to go there now. Go there now. Alright, that was hard to understand. Sample 4. First question, do you often go to a park? Let's listen to this.
And as for me,
Oh my goodness. Okay, the question is, do you often go to a park? You, not someone else. So if the question is, do you do something, don't start your answer with as for me. As for me is when you want to contrast yourself with other people. So other people like X. However, as for me, I like Y.
And as for me, I often go to a park to do all kinds of things.
You did say kind, right?
And as for me, I often go to a park to do all kinds of things.
Okay, slow speech here.
And in my hometown, there is a destination I went to, sometimes called.
I'm not sure why he's jumping from... Let me put a space here. I don't know why he's jumping from the present tense to the past tense. I often go to a park to do things, and then I went. So he doesn't go there anymore. I mean, maybe it's true, but it's a little bit confusing. Why is this in the past tense? Did he really stop going there?
Destination I went to, sometimes called Aishu Wetland Park, and I often went there to do some exercise and to inhale some fresh air. And
Okay, inhale's not wrong. Why not say enjoy? You go somewhere to enjoy the fresh air. Lots of ands here. And as for me, and in my hometown, and I often went there, and I can see. As far as coherence goes, if you keep on saying and, you can expect to get a 5.
inhale some fresh air, and I consider the park as a heaven in the city.
As a heaven in the city. Okay, in English it sounds a bit strange, but it's not wrong.
Which can just let me become more energetic. And
Again, this is not wrong, but why not say make? Usually people will say make, which makes me more energetic. Makes me.
to refresh myself in a little bit.
Refresh myself. Remember the other person said refresh my batteries? That's the right thing to say. Not refresh, what am I saying? Recharge. Recharge my batteries. That's the right thing to say, not refresh myself. And it's not in a little bit, it's just a little bit.
And it's a natural place where I can
I think there should be it's. It sounds to me like he said is.
see a lot of fauna and flora and fauna.
For fauna and flora, usually we say fauna first, fauna and flora. It doesn't really matter. So fauna and flora is not wrong. I don't know why he decided to go with flora and fauna. Anyway, it doesn't matter which one you say first.
And I can hang out with my family to connect with them, so I really like going to a park.
You connect at the park. Alright. I would have thought families connect at home, but alright. What do people do in parks? Okay, let's have a listen to that.
And in a park you can do a lot of
Oh, he's starting with and again.
things. From you can just go camping.
Are we talking about parks in the city now, or is this like an actual camping ground?
You can just bring some fresh refreshments with your families or your friends.
Okay, two things here. It's not bring, it's take. Because bring is to where you are now. But right now, in this scenario, you're talking to the examiner. You're not in a park. Secondly, every person just has one family, so it cannot be families. And I guess thirdly, he didn't mispronounce family.
Or your friends, and sit by the lake to talk about a lot of things that you encounter or experience in a little bit.
Now, here's the be verb are, and here's the main verb experience. So, where's the ing? And why does he keep on saying in a little bit? I don't know what he thinks this means. So, you can talk about the things that you're experiencing in your life, but not in a little bit. You experience it in your life.
And you can be a photographer to take.
You can be a photographer. Well, I mean, it's not untrue, but why not just say you can take pictures? I mean, if I draw a picture of something, it doesn't mean that I can be an artist. It just means I'm drawing a picture. If I'm taking pictures, it doesn't mean that I've become a photographer.
A lot of photos about the natural scenes.
You take photos of. This is the wrong preposition. You take photos of things, not about them.
And you can shot the birds.
Okay, after a modal like can, we need to use the base verb. You can shoot. I don't know why there's a the here. I'm assuming he's talking specifically about the birds at the park. But I mean, we're not really killing animals now, are we? So you can shoot the birds. Nah, that's fine, because he was talking about taking photos here. So if he says shoot here in the context, obviously it means take pictures, not shoot them with a gun. So that's fine. This should just be shoot.
Yes, you can shot a very unique flowers.
Okay, we've got a plural here, and we have an article. And here he's making the same mistake again. So he really has problems with modals.
And you can just to ride a bike to.
Just to. Here's a modal, but he's using an infinitive, to ride. After a modal, there's no to. So you can. What am I doing here? You can just ride a bike. There's no to.
Ride a bike to do some exercise or just read books by the lake.
Again, he's having problems with articles. This is a plural. He's got a there. And very similar to the other woman, he's basically listing things. His grammar is better than hers. He's using slightly more complex grammar, but it's still essentially just a list. I mean, if you have in the past read a book by a lake, tell us the story. Not us. Tell the examiner the story of where this lake was and what book you read there and how it felt. Keep it brief, but I mean, tell the story. No, don't just list possibilities.
Besides, you can also do nothing. Just.
What did I put here? It should be nothing. Okay, obviously I messed this up. Let's pause this for a second. Alright, let's continue this.
Besides, you can also do nothing. Just bathe in the sunshine.
It's bathe. Bathe in the sunshine. Let's see here. Or besides. Besides, you can. Okay. Or besides. I don't know if I would say or besides. Let's leave out the or. Besides. But besides is used when you want to make an additional point. So it's kind of like in addition to the point I've just made, there's another point I'd like to make. But here, there's nothing that's being said in addition to any previous point. It's just one more point. So I would say additionally, you can also, what can you do here? Oh, do nothing. I forgot. Yeah, so additionally, you can also do nothing. Besides, it's not the right word here. Besides is when you want to continue a point that you have already started. Like, for example, let's say we're talking about, let's say Coca-Cola. Is Coca-Cola healthy? Maybe you'd say, well, Coca-Cola is not really very healthy because of all the sugar it contains, and besides, it's not very good for your teeth. So then you are continuing the point that Coca-Cola is not very healthy. So sugar, bad for your teeth. But here, it's just another item on the list. So besides, not the right discourse marker to use here. Alright, well, I hope you found this video helpful.